Hello, everybody. Welcome to your very first workshop of the day, but hopefully not your last. My name is Josh, and I am on the global community team here at Asana. Thank you so much for being part of the Asana community and for attending our very first Asana Together Learnathon. I can't tell you how excited the entire team is for us to be able to put on this event for all of you. So, thank you again for being here. Before I welcome our presenter, Louise, to the stage, I just want to go over a couple of quick important notes. So this workshop is being recorded. Everyone who has registered will receive the recording within a couple days after the close of the event in a follow-up email. I also want to point out a couple of features on the right-hand side of your screen, chat and Q&A. To chat, you'll want to make sure you first hit the session tab to chat with other attendees of this particular session. You'll be able to ask questions there in the chat with other attendees. I'll be doing my best to answer some of your questions during the workshop via chat. We're also going to have about 15 minutes for live Q&A with Louise at the end of this session. If you have questions specifically for our facilitator, you want to put those questions into the Q&A tab. Feel free to upvote any questions that you see, and once Q&A begins, I'll hop on stage to help ask Louise these questions. We'll do our best to get through as many as we possibly can. With that, I would like to introduce our facilitator. Louise Henry is an online business strategist and educator at louisehenry.com. She teaches early stage entrepreneurs how to find the simplest and most streamlined pathways to growth. She does this by sharing free tutorials over on her YouTube channel and through her popular online courses, Up-Level with Asana, Website That Wows, and Scale with Kartra. She loves seeing entrepreneurs bring their ideas to life and believes that they shouldn't be held back by the tech stuff. With that, I would like to welcome up Louise. Louise, come on up and join me on the stage.
Hi, Josh. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Louise. I will turn things over to you.
Okay, awesome. Welcome. Hi, everyone. It is so great seeing where you are all joining from. I'm Louise, and I am so excited to be sharing my love of Asana with you all today. So if you are excited to learn more about Asana and how it can help you improve your productivity, feel less stressed, feel more focused, drop your favorite emoji in the chat. I'm already seeing lots of emojis, so we're getting a good handle on that, but put your favorite emoji there. I am going to dive right on in. We already have, oh my goodness, we already have over 390 attendees here. So this is super exciting. I'm going to share my screen. As Josh said, we're going to do a Q&A at the end. I won't be able to see too many of your questions as I'm doing the presentation, but at the very end, we will definitely be answering some questions. Okay, I'm seeing some fantastic emojis. Okay, yeah, love the cowboy one. Perfect. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I am going to be talking all about 7 steps to making Asana sticky, and I'm thrilled to be part of the Asana Together Learnathon. So here is what I'm going to be going over today. I'm going to be talking about the benefits of digital versus physical planning. Going to be going through the foundations of Asana, how to streamline your work, how to eliminate mental clutter, how to improve your productivity with Asana, and how to transition if you haven't quite moved all of your productivity and your to-do list. If you haven't quite moved it over to Asana yet, we're going to talk about how you can make the transition fully over to Asana. Okay, so as we already said, I'm Louise Henry. I am an Asana certified pro. I have been running an online business for the past 5 years now, where it's me and I also have a small team. And Asana has honestly been such a huge part of allowing us to do what we do in terms of actually, staying on top of things, being organized, being productive, getting everything done that we want to. I could not do it without Asana. And as you'll see in today's presentation, it's not just about managing work, it's also about managing your personal life. So we're going to talk about that as well. You can find me at louisehenry.com. I do have an online course where I share my love of Asana, all my best tips and tricks in there. So you can check that out. That's called Uplevel with Asana. And I also have a YouTube channel with over 100,000 subscribers, over 200 videos sharing simple step-by-step tutorials on all things productivity, marketing, and online business. So definitely check that out as well. Okay, so let's kick things off. The first thing I want to talk about is the benefits of digital versus physical planning. Okay, honestly, this is going to be huge. Transitioning to a digital planning system will honestly be transformational for your business and life. So if you are excited about making this change, put yes in the chat and let everyone know. So there's a few reasons why, and I like to think of this specifically for those of you that maybe have a physical planner right now where you have all your to-dos. You might have a planner, you might have a notebook as well, and that's how you're attempting to stay organized. That's what I'm comparing to. So we have that, but then we have a digital system like Asana, which I will argue is so much better. So a few reasons why is that it's searchable. This means that you are never going to lose ideas or important information again. I was always using notebooks before for all of my ideas, and then I would write them down, think that it was a great idea, and then I would lose it a few days later and not be able to find it again. So that is not going to happen once you get all of your ideas and all of your work into Asana instead. Now, on top of this, it also reduces mental clutter, which is huge. I'm really excited to share more about how you can do that. It's going to help you increase productivity. It's going to help you save time. It's way more flexible. Like, just wait till you see some of the features today. It's way more flexible than what you can do with a physical planner and notebook. And also, everything gets consolidated into one place. So all of your appointments, all of your to-dos, reminders, meetings, everything can just live in Asana instead, and you're going to feel so much better, so much less mental clutter. Okay, so one thing I would absolutely do, if you haven't done this yet, is to download the Asana app. This way, you're going to have all of your to-dos, you're going to have all of your important reminders that you need. You're going to have that with you on the go, and you can easily make changes and updates whenever you need. Honestly, it is like my top app on my phone. So definitely make sure that you download if you haven't yet. Okay, so yeah, get excited about what this will do for you and your team, even though it is an adjustment at first. So it definitely took me a while to fully transition from that planning and notebook system that we talked about, but now I couldn't imagine running my business without this system. So I'm excited for you as well. And if you have team members after this presentation, you'll be able to go to them. You'll be able to give them all the reasons as why you should all work within Asana instead. So that's what you'll be able to do after this. Okay. So our very first step is to analyze your workload. And what I want you to do is look at both work and personal. As Josh mentioned, you are going to get a recording of this training. So don't worry about doing it alongside with me. Just take it all in, take some notes. Then when you watch the recording after, you can go into your Asana at the same time and you can actually implement. But don't worry about doing that right now. Okay, so we're going to look at both work and personal. There's so much that we all need to organize, right? Like when you actually write it all down and see everything that you are responsible for remembering and completing, it is a lot. So what I want you to do is look at your personal life and then also look at your work life and write down all of the different categories that you need to organize. So for example, for your personal life, maybe you're responsible for all the meals in your household. So in which case, it would be really handy to have a meal planner. Maybe you have an exercise schedule that is really important to you. Okay, that's personal tasks that we need to organize. Then on top of that, family activities, which depending on how many kids you have, that could be many, many activities. Then we have work. So work, depending what teams you are a part of, maybe you're on the marketing team and the operations and the finance, and there's a lot of work that you need to manage as well. So in Asana, you can organize these personal tasks. It doesn't have to be all your work-related tasks. You have two different options for doing this. First, you can create a separate workspace for your personal to-dos. This is a completely different area to your work-related tasks. You can either do that, or you can choose to create private projects within your company's Asana. So I am going to show you how to do that right now. Okay, perfect. So here is my demo Asana for you. The first way is to create this brand new workspace. If you want to do that, all you need to do is navigate to the top right corner where you will see your profile picture. Click on that, then click My Profile Settings, click on Account, and you'll see Workspaces. So I could choose to click Create New Workspace, change this to Personal, and create my workspace. Okay, so it's going to take a second, and this is creating a whole separate area. So nobody else on your team or at work is going to be able to view this area, and you'll still get all the full functionality of Asana. Okay, so that is one option. Option two, let's go back to the work Asana. Option two is that you decide to just add your personal projects in here, but add them private so that nobody else can see it. I like to do this way, honestly, because then I can go to my calendar and I can see my work tasks and my personal as well, all in one place. So let's go down here. What you want to do on the left side panel, you'll see teams. If we scroll down to the very bottom here, you'll see that you can add a team. So you'll want to click on that and title this personal. And we're going to change this to private, so it's just for you, and hit create team. And you'll be able to see when you scroll down, you'll be able to see if it's just your photo right there, you are the only one that can see this team and all of the projects under it. So think of it as like a category, and then we have different projects below. So in order to create a project, all we need to do is click that right there, and we can go ahead and do that. So two options, decide which one feels better for you in terms of organizing your personal tasks as well. Okay, so back to the next step. Okay, so let's go through foundations of Asana. I'm sure we have a variety of levels here, but for those of you that are brand new, don't worry, we have you covered. So what you want to do is take all those different categories of everything that you have to organize. You want to take those and turn these into projects. Projects is the basis of how we organize everything in Asana. So what I recommend you do is set up projects for each category, then color code each project. Then you want to break down projects into individual tasks. And when you do this, you're going to be able to include attachments, any important links that you need, any images. And then I want you to assign it to the relevant teammate responsible for that task or yourself. That's also, you need to assign it to someone to make sure that it is going to get done. That's something that I love about Asana. They have all these little systems in place to ensure that we're not just writing down tasks and they're not actionable. We're writing down tasks, we're deciding who's going to do them and when they're going to be done. So that's why we also need to assign due dates. Okay, and don't worry, I will demo all of this. Okay, so back into our Asana. Okay. So we just created that team for personal. Let's go ahead, create those projects for those categories that we mentioned. So I'm going to create a project. You will see that Asana has some fantastic templates. So definitely go through and check these out and see if there are any that would be really relevant for you and your work. If not, you can just go ahead and click blank project, start with a blank project. So I'm going to title this meal planner and hit create project. Okay, great. Then I'm going to do it again. So this time I'm going to click this plus sign right here next to my personal team. I'm going to go to blank project. This one, I'm going to do my exercise schedule. Okay, so we have meal planner, exercise schedule, and then we had family activities. So I'm going to click on that plus sign, blank project, family activities, and create that project. Okay, great. Now, there's a slight difference here that I just want to point out. This is what I do for managing personal tasks. So we have the personal team, and then we have a few different projects underneath that category. When it comes to marketing, operations, and finance, like your work categories, I create a team for each one of them. So an individual team, and then underneath it, all the different projects under that category. That's what I found the best because our work tends to have like even more projects that we need to manage. So that's the way I would recommend setting it up. Okay. So we have our marketing. This would include something like your content calendar. We have our operations, our finance, and all our personal tasks. Okay. So this is what you will end up having organized as well once you figure out all those categories of work and personal. Okay. The next thing I want you to do is color code. And this is really important, and you will see why real soon. Okay, so first things first, meal planner. To color code each of these, you're going to go to these three little dots next to the title, okay? Then set color and icon. So here I can choose a color. So like it's a meal, so I'm gonna choose green, and I'm gonna look and see if there's an icon I wanna use for this. So, okay, I'm gonna use the little basket. Perfect. Then for my exercise schedule, same thing. I'm going to color code that. Okay, and same thing, let's add a color for this one. We'll do pink, and it's family activities. So for that one, we'll choose this little soccer thing. Okay, great. So it is all color coded. Now the next thing we need to do is add in some tasks. So let's go to the meal planner one. And let's say that you want to plan out all your ideas for healthy snacks that you want to have this week. So what you can do is add a section. So just click add section, and I'm going to title this healthy snacks. Perfect. And if you hit enter on your keyboard, it will then bring you to the task level. Here is where you break it down. So I am going to do make a green smoothie. Okay. And then if you just click right over here, it's going to bring up the full task panel where you can basically provide for yourself or for your team all of the information that is required to accomplish this task. So already just having this here makes things so much easier, so much more organized, because everything we need to accomplish this one specific task is right in here. So for example, in the description, I could add the link to the recipe. I could just paste in here the ingredients that are required, give myself a little reminder of, okay, we need spinach and we need bananas. Okay, so we have all the information. Then on top of this, you can also add images, you can add any PDFs that you need. So I'm just going to open up my Finder window. You're not going to be able to see this, but I have an image here. I'm just opening that up, and I'm going to drag it on top of this panel. As you can see, it changes to drop to attach files. And I'm going to upload an image of that gorgeous smoothie that I want to make. Okay, so you can do that with both images and then PDFs as well. I have an example PDF, so I'm going to drop that, and you'll just see them attached right here for that task. Okay, so hopefully you are seeing already how much easier it would be to actually make this smoothie because you have all the info that you need. You have that photo there. It's great. Okay, so we have added those tasks. Now we have to assign it. So I'm going to go over to the Assignee tab, and I'm going to assign this one to myself. So I'm just clicking on it, finding myself from the list there, and that's assigned to me. I can also go ahead and just assign this to any one of my team members as well instead. Okay, but for this, it's me, and I am going to click on the due date to decide on that, and I'm going to choose that I'm going to do this tomorrow. Okay, perfect. So then I'm also going to go to my exercise schedule, and I'm just going to quickly add a task. Let's say that you have a soccer game this Friday. Okay, so I'm going to quickly add this. Perfect, and you'll see why in just a few seconds. Okay, so I've shown you everything that I needed to show you there. We have our meal planner. We have one in our exercise schedule. Perfect. Okay. So one thing that you absolutely want to get in the habit of doing is planning your projects ahead of time. So once you decide what these different categories are and you start putting those projects into Asana, you want to break them down. So you want to think of every task that needs to be accomplished. You want to think of that ahead of time, document that into Asana. This is going to help you so much. This is one of my top tips for being more productive with Asana. The reason being is your execution is going to be stronger. Your projects will much more likely stay on timeline, and you're going to be able to distribute your work more evenly across your team. Okay, so if there's one thing you take away from this is create your projects, but then fully break them down, go into detail, get very specific on the individual tasks that need to happen for this project to be completed. Okay, great. So now we're going to talk about my absolute favorite feature of Asana, and that is My Tasks. My Tasks is really your central to-do list. This is your hub. This is where I log in every single day and know exactly what I need to do. Okay, what I love about this is you can easily switch between board, list, and calendar view. It's how I would recommend you start each day. It's going to give you an exact view of what you need to prioritize. And there's also automations to help you speed up your workflow. So let's hop back in there so that I can show you that. Okay, so let's go over here. This is where you will find My Tasks, top left. We're going to click on that. Awesome. Here we go. So as you can see, this is giving me this fantastic color-coded calendar. So that's why I was like, we have to color code everything so that when you come in here, you see all your to-dos and they already have a color attached to them based on what project you had sorted them into. This helps so much. I love when I can go to my calendar and I know like, okay, that green means this. Okay, this falls into this category. It's going to make it so much easier. So within My Task, so here you can see that green smoothie that we added, and we also have that soccer game happening. Okay, so with My Task, right now, this is calendar view on the month view. You can also go up here, you can click on this, and you can change it to your week view. I actually love this view. I've ended up using this a lot now. I particularly love that you can just drag and drop and you can order it in the order that you want to accomplish those tasks. So I love that feature. And also if you click unscheduled up here, you'll see all your tasks that weren't assigned a due date. So you can grab that task and you can actually just drag it over here and very quickly and easily assign that date. Okay. So we not only have that view, we also have board view for anyone who likes to work like in your columns. You know, you can set this up where you can have today, upcoming, and done, and you can move your tasks across as it goes through the stages of completion. And we also have list view. So for those of you that are transitioning from a physical to-do list, if you love that format, you will love this because not only do you have that, but you have all the information about each of the tasks, right, that you can put right in within here. Okay, then you also have when it's actually happening, the project it's a part of, and any tags that you want to add to that as well to help you be even more organized. So yeah, I can't really say much more better things about My Task. If you are also a huge fan of this, can you put yes in the chat and let me know? Awesome. Okay, I'm going over to the chat. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Love it. Okay, awesome. And for those of you, you know, lots of you are using it already. For those of you that aren't, it's going to be life-changing. Okay, wonderful. So let's go back in here. The next thing I want to talk about is your inbox. So this is really a streamlined way of getting up to date on your team communication. It's going to allow you to respond or react quickly to items that need your attention. Communication is going to be directly linked to the relevant action item, so you're not searching for tasks, and you get to control which notifications you get. So I'm going to show you all this, but basically what this is the solution to all of your email problems. If your email inbox is totally stressing you out, you find yourself searching for past threads, you don't need to do that anymore. You can keep all of your team communication within Asana. So this is just going to help streamline things so much more. You're going to feel so much better, more focused, and more productive. So let me go back into Asana and show you this. Okay, so if we go over here to top left, you'll see inbox. We're going to click on that. This is where you will get all of your updates. So this is where you will also see any messages from your team, any comments that your team has left you. What I like about this is, let's say this was a comment from a team member. I can actually go down here to this little icon here. Once I click on that, that's going to pop up all these cute little GIFs, and it's going to give me an opportunity to just quickly and easily show my appreciation. So I'm going to click on that, and as you can see, we get the little cute GIF, and it says that I showed my appreciation. So that's something that I do all the time. It's great. Like, you don't have to leave a full comment or anything, but you want them to know, like, hey, thank you so much for doing that. So you can acknowledge that there. When you're going through your inbox, you can just click this icon right here, right there, to archive the notification. Perfect. And if you want to manage your notifications, you're going to click on the three dots right here and then manage notifications, and you can totally control how much you get. Okay, awesome. Now, the next thing we are going to talk about is integrations. So I would love to hear from everyone in the chat what your favorite integration is that you're using already. But this is definitely something that we do not want to miss out when we are using Asana. You can go to asana.com/apps to see the full list. But basically, Asana has built all these integrations that work with the other tools that you may be using already. So for example, for documents, for creating, sharing, storing documents and files, we have integrations with Dropbox, Drive, Box, OneDrive. Also for messaging, so sending messages, making announcements, tools like Gmail, Outlook, Slack, and Teams, you also have integration. So make sure that you explore this page. Have to tell you about my favorites. So definitely one of my favorites is the Gmail to Asana integration. This is because I can take any of those emails that come in, and I can quickly and easily turn that into a task into Asana. I love that. Same with the Slack one, which allows us to be, talking in more detail about certain projects that we want to do. As soon as we've decided, okay, we are going to go ahead with this, and it is now an actionable task, we can quickly and easily turn that Slack conversation into an Asana task. We have that. Zapier is one I would check out. That is for automating different tools that you may be using and sending information into Asana. So we use a few different tools, and we'll be able to take that information and just automatically turn it into a task into Asana for us. So love that. And I also love the brand new Vimeo one. Have you guys seen that? Maybe you haven't yet, but let's go into that. I have an example for you that I want to show you. So now, very easily on your task, you can click this button right here, and you can actually record a video. So you can record a video of you and your screen explaining, exactly what you want another team member to do. So you can record that, and then it's just going to sit right here on the task like this. Absolutely love this one. I think that can really help you streamline things and get more productive as well. Okay, perfect. Okay, so here are your action items so far. So you want to create projects for both personal and work. Break down your projects into individual tasks. Use My Tasks as your central to-do list, that main hub that you're going to check every single morning. You want to use the inbox feature for easy communication within your team and streamline your work with integrations as well. Okay, now let's talk about your daily to-dos. I love this little trick. It's super simple, and I think it's going to help you with all of those little things that you need to do each day. So think about what you need to accomplish each day. What we're going to do is we're going to set this up once so that you don't have to think about it anymore. You can simply follow your checklist. So this is what we need to do. We're going to add a task called daily to-dos. Then we're going to add multiple subtasks below that with all the different daily to-dos we have. And then we're going to turn this task into a recurring checklist. Perfect. So for this one, all you need to do is go into My Tasks. I like to just do it from the calendar view. I find it nice and easy. You'll see that I was demoing this. So I'm going to click Add Task, call this Daily To-Dos. Perfect. Then I'm going to click on the task. Now, any of those little things that you need to accomplish each day that are probably taking up some mental energy right now, you are going to add those as subtasks. So for example, I need to walk my cute little puppy every single morning. So I'm going to walk Charlie. I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to post on social media. Okay, so those are my top things I need to do every day. Once you do that, all you need to do is scroll up to the due date. You're going to click on this, and you're going to navigate down to this arrow icon here. This is going to allow you to set it to repeat. So you can click on that and change this from weekly, just scroll up to daily. Okay, perfect. So now this is going to show up on your calendar every single day. And once you check it off, it's automatically going to populate on the next day as well. So this has become incredibly helpful. Okay, it's a little confused because I put it on tomorrow, but let's say I had it here and then I checked it off, it will populate on the next day instead. But this is incredibly handy. And basically what I'm trying to encourage you to do is just get anything out of your mind that you're constantly having to worry about remembering and storing, and instead put that into Asana. Okay, perfect. So action item recap. You're going to create a task titled Daily To-Dos. You're going to add those individual to-dos as subtasks, set that main task to recur daily, and then check these off as you go throughout your day. Awesome. So let's continue talking about how to eliminate mental clutter. What I want you to do is clear your mind and document absolutely everything that you need to remember. So think back to all of your appointments, meetings, important events, things like paying rent. You're going to write all of those down. You can write it on paper first and then do this transition into Asana. So you're going to write those all down, and then you're going to add them as tasks in Asana. You can add any accompanying notes, files, photos you need to help you accomplish these, and also set to recurring if necessary. So just how we set that daily to do as recurring, you can do that for all your tasks. You can change it to weekly recurring, yearly recurring. You have a lot of options there. Okay, so really this is going to help us reduce stress a lot. It's going to improve mental clarity. It's going to mean that you are relying on Asana instead of your memory. And also it's always with you. So not only will we have our desktop version, but you'll also download the Asana app so that you have the mobile version as well. Okay, awesome. So I am going to demo doing this. So let's say that for our exercise schedule, we have to every single week sign up for a weekly yoga class. So I'm just going to go in here, going to add that as a task. So sign up for weekly yoga class. I'm going to assign it to myself and set the due date. So let's click on the due date, change it to Friday. Then click on the recurring arrow down here, and honestly, it did it for us automatically. Okay, so it's already selected weekly, and it's going to happen every Friday. So that is checked off there. Perfect. Okay, what is another one that we need to do? Let's do a weekly meeting. That is also a common one. So let's say for our marketing team, under our content calendar, there is a weekly content meeting that needs to happen. So right under events, I can just click here to add my task and add in the content meeting. Perfect. Again, I'm going to assign it to myself. And let's say that this happens every Wednesday. I'm going to set it for Wednesday, hit set to repeat. We have weekly every Wednesday. Perfect. Okay, awesome. So any little thing like that, any meeting, any appointment, doctor's appointment, anything like paying rent, going grocery shopping, literally put it all into Asana. It is going to feel so much better for you. Okay, awesome. Here we go. Okay, so finally, I believe this is the last thing that I wanted to show you, and that is saving time with templates. This saves me so much time in my business, and I think it will for you as well. So any repetitive task with multiple steps can actually be systematized and turned into a template. Okay, benefits of these is that they save time. They can be shared across teams for consistency. So especially if you are outsourcing a lot or you're just starting to outsource a lot, this is going to be really beneficial for you. It's also going to ensure that tasks are done correctly each time. So that means no missteps. It's all documented ahead of time. And again, not relying on our memory to remember all these tiny little steps. Okay, so a perfect example for this one is for content creation. So let's go back into the content calendar. And let's say that you are creating any form of content in your work or business, whether it's blog posts, podcast episodes, YouTube videos. There's a whole lot that needs to be done. So what you would do is you would go add task. And instead of writing in a regular task name, I recommend that you format it like this. So you're going to add in that bracket there, and in all caps, you're going to call it a template. Perfect. And then let's decide exactly what type of template it is. So I'm going to type in blog post. Cool. Then from here, I'm going to go down to my subtasks again and add all of the little steps. And if you've ever done a blog post, then you know that there are many. So for example, we need to brainstorm topic. No, I'm actually going to leave that out. We're going to write the rough draft. We're going to edit the rough draft. We're going to upload to website, add images. We're going to do the search engine optimization. As you can see, like the list could go on and on. So once you have written those out and you've gotten very specific on all the steps you need to do, you can come up here to these three little dots, and then you can convert this task to a template. So I'm going to click Convert Task to Template. Perfect. That's going to take a second to do that. Awesome. And now when I go to create a task, rather than just seeing a blank task, when I click this plus sign right here, I'm now going to see blank task, but I'm also going to see my template right there, ready to go. This is ready for me to use. So if I click this right here, it's going to take a second and it's going to automatically add in all of those mini action steps. So now when I click on it, as you can see, we have all of them right here, which is fantastic. And when you first go to create it, what I would do is hit on the plus sign, you create the new task, and then you add in the title here. Okay, so that would be your blog post title. So I love this. It's not just for content. You're going to see that it comes in handy all the time. Think about anything in your life and business that is repetitive. If there's anything like that, then you can absolutely implement templates into your business and life. Okay. Perfect. So again, let's recap those action steps. You're going to create a task titled template, and then whatever the template is. You're going to add individual action items as your subtasks. You're going to click Convert Task to Template, and you're going to use this anytime that you need to repeat this task. So yeah, this one is huge. This has helped a lot. As you know, I'm super passionate about the my tasks. So trying to give you everything in Asana that has been the most impactful for me personally. Okay, so what about making this transition? Right now, I'm hoping that you are feeling, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Oh my gosh, I need to use Asana more. I need to document everything into Asana. Let me know how you're feeling in the chat. So let's talk about transitioning. If you're still at the point where it doesn't feel quite natural, like you've grown up with using a paper planner and a notebook, it doesn't quite feel natural yet to be fully digital. What I'd recommend you do is set a reminder each morning for 1 week to go and check Asana. We simply just need a reminder as we're building that new habit in the beginning. So that's one thing I would do. I would set a reminder for yourself. And I would also, if you are working with a team or collaborators right now, I would set an agreement with them about how often you'll all check Asana so that you know how frequently to expect updates. So right at the beginning, you could just be like, hey, let's all check in at noon and 4 p.m. each day as you work towards being more of an Asana superfan. Okay, so in conclusion, here are 7 steps to making Asana sticky, 7 steps to making Asana work for you and helping you with your productivity and focus. First things first, you're going to move all your personal and work tasks into Asana. You're going to use My Tasks as your central hub. You're going to use integrations to help streamline your work. So definitely check out the full list of integrations that are available for you. You're going to create that daily to-do list with all of your daily to-dos you need to do. And you're going to reduce mental clutter by documenting everything in Asana. On top of this, you're going to systematize by creating templates, and you're going to use reminders to help you transition. So that is my time. We actually came in at like perfect time. Thank you so much to everyone for being here and for the Asana team for having me. I hope that you learned a lot. And now I'm going to come over to the chat.
All right, Louise, thank you so much. Wow, a lot of great content, and we have a lot of questions. So let me bring up a couple that folks had. First, in terms of handling client projects, which you talked a bit about, how do you differentiate between showing the client tasks for their visibility and progress checks and not wanting your client to necessarily see everything that your team is working on for them?
Yeah, that's such a good point. I think in that case, you would need to split it out unless you know, Josh, of a better way of making some tasks private and others not. But what we'll do is for like our more internal tasks that we need to do, that is something that only we can see, but we will have specific client projects for clients where they can come and view it as well. This is great because then they know exactly what's happening and they're going to feel like, okay, great, this project is moving ahead. And you can also invite them to come and be part of it and interact with you right within that project. So that's the way I would tackle that unless you know of a better way.
Yeah, I think that's definitely on point. One thing that you could do is have a client-facing project and then a client backend project. And any tasks that need to be in both places could just be multi-homed, where you have the tasks living in both projects, but you're really managing them from your internal project while your client is able to view whatever they need to see from the external project that you've shared with them.
True. Yeah, that is a great point that you can, when you saw me adding tasks to the project, just keep in mind that you can add each task to multiple projects as well. So if it needs to live in multiple places, you can absolutely do that.
Great. You talked about setting up daily to-dos, but can you explain a little bit about how you manage multi-day or multi-week projects?
Absolutely. So that is all, that starts with the project breakdown. So that it's super important that you do plan your projects out ahead of time. So when you saw us first set up those projects, it's going into that and it's mapping it all out ahead of time. Like I think it's so difficult when you try and organize it all, you know, as you go. So instead, when it comes to projects like that, really take that bird's eye view to begin with, add in all the tasks you need. And from the beginning, add in your due dates, assign it to everyone, and really see how the work is distributed. So that's the best way to handle larger projects.
Great. You'd mentioned in your My Tasks, you have like your list view, board view, calendar view. What's your favorite for your own personal way that you use Asana and why?
Yeah, so it's definitely the calendar. At first, it was the list, and then I was like, no, I switched to the calendar just because it pulls everything in. It is so helpful. So I had used other project management tools before this, but the problem is I was constantly losing tasks if I didn't click into that specific project. So My Task is fantastic because it means you're going to know that all of your projects are moving ahead on schedule. So now I use the calendar view. It is my favorite, and I'm super happy about that new week view. And so I would say I'm pretty much living in that. I bookmark it and I check it every single morning first thing.
Great.
Yeah.
You talked quite a bit about templates. When you create a template, is that template available in all projects or just the project that you created?
I'm actually not sure. Generally, when I've seen it, I feel like it's been within the project itself.
Mhm.
But I could be
But
wrong. Yeah.
yeah, and I think this is Jessica. She was specifically asking about task templates. Those, I believe, are limited to the project that
Mhm.
you are creating that task template.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Great. Um, Sedat, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, asks, can you merge a personal and business Asana account or sync them so that in case you leave your job, can you keep your Asana tasks? Louise, feel free to take this one and then I can add in a little bit more context as well.
Yeah. So sorry, say that one more time.
Can you merge personal and business Asana
Merge.
accounts or sync them so that in case this person
Mm.
leaves their job, they could keep their Asana tasks? So I'm
I
guessing what they're thinking is,
yeah.
in your example, you say put all of your personal and business tasks in one place in Asana. What
Yeah.
if you were to leave your job? How can you keep your personal
I
tasks?
mean, I know you can export them. Is that what you would say is the best way to, yeah, you can definitely export all of your tasks and then you can re-upload them. So you could set up a whole new workspace for yourself and then put it all in there instead.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. Is that the best way?
There's really two ways. That's one of them. The other is, and for me, I think this is a best practice for me, and what we typically recommend at Asana as well, is have your space for your work projects. Like, let's say I work at asana.com. I have my Asana company workspace. And then I have a personal account like for Josh, and
Mm,
it's linked to my personal email address. All of my personal tasks go into that workspace, and I can switch between them in Asana by just clicking on my profile picture. So
yeah.
for me, because I work at Asana and I think about my work Asana tasks living in my work Asana, and then things that are related to like my house or personal projects, those live in my personal Asana. So that's another easy way to just keep everything in one spot, but still be able to separate them so that if you were to ever leave or work, or you just want to keep things completely separate, like in your mind and in Asana, that's another way to do it
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And for any of the people that like have their own business, I feel like mine's a little different because of that. So because I have my own business, then I just put it under there and I was comfortable doing that. So for anyone here in that situation, you can do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Star asks, can I delete or hide a project that has been completed?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, you can delete it in full, or you can just archive it. I will often just archive so that I can still keep it. I can look back on it if needed. One thing I didn't mention is we talked about the templates on the individual task level, but you can also create templates for entire projects. So if it is one of these bigger things that you need to do and it has multiple moving pieces, you can actually template that project. You can archive it when you're not using it. And when you want to use it again, you can just duplicate that project, quickly change out the dates and use it again. So that's why I'm hesitant to delete. I'm like, oh, wait, maybe you're going to want to use that in the future.
Great. And so you work with a number of different projects and clients. Elizabeth asks, I have several projects across different clients, and so I have several Asana logins. Louise, I'm curious how you manage things like
Yeah.
this. She's asking, is there a way to combine them for herself?
As of now, not that I'm aware of, unless Josh has some hack for us. But as of now, no. If it's specific to and it's within the client's Asana, then you have to log in and you have to be like a member there. So what I will try and do is, if I have client projects, manage it under mine and invite the client to view that. So yeah, Josh, curious on your thoughts there.
Yeah, there is no way to like pull all your logins into one Asana instance. However, you can switch between, like, let's say you have 3 clients and you are working on projects for each one of them and they are managed within their own Asana account or instance. You can see those in your Asana profile and just switch between them. That's typically the easiest and only way to do that, because you can't like pull specific tasks of theirs into your own Asana instance just for privacy and security reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Greg asks, is there a way to view all projects on a calendar? The only workaround he's found was to create a task on each project with the same tag. Do you have a different way that you do that, Louise?
Okay, so Greg, you mean to like sync all your different projects, even if it's not necessarily assigned to you, and see it in one place?
I'm guessing.
Yeah. So what we do, Greg, is we have like a company overview board. So we're not syncing like absolutely everything, though you could, but we have a company overview board. And then we add all of those tasks, just how Josh mentioned, how you can add tasks to a secondary project. That's how we handle that. So we will go through the projects, make sure they are also in this overview project, and then we can see like all the different projects and how they work together. So that's been the main way that we handle that.
Great. There were a number of questions about like recurring meetings, recurring tasks. Do you want to just talk a little bit more, Louise, about how you use those in general?
Yeah. Just whenever I possibly can, so that I can. Clearly, it sounds like I have a terrible memory, which actually is true. I do. And I would like everything to be in there. And if I can set it to recurring and not have to, like a doctor's appointment, remember to do that every single year, right? So I like to put it in there. I use it all the time. I have weekly recurring tasks, daily. I also have monthly. So the first of every month, for example, something I do at the first of every month is go through all my stats for my business, see how growth is. So that's a recurring task that I have there. But yeah, there are a lot of annual tasks as well that I need to set as recurring, so that even a year from now, I'm still on top of things and remembering that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, recurring tasks are super handy. Like for instance, I have a recurring biweekly meeting with my team. It has a template already built into the task so that we don't have to recreate the agenda each time. And it just happens every couple of weeks. We don't even have to really think about creating it. There were some questions about recurring tasks and setting end dates and variable dates, like the third Thursday of the month. That isn't currently available in Asana as far as I know, but you can set them on more standardized schedules. So definitely check out recurring tasks.
Yeah, definitely check out the options, because there's like the custom option where, you can get a bit more detailed. So it's not just the daily, weekly, and yearly. Another thing we do is we'll actually, for your example on the weekly meetings, is we'll use the subtasks to document notes from that meeting. So we'll have a weekly meeting and then we set each subtask as like notes from this particular date, and we'll store it in there. So it's all easily accessible and we know exactly what happened each week. That's another thing you could do.
Absolutely. Okay, Panina asks, is there a way to set all tasks to also post to a company overview project? Or does this have to be done manually for every task? Wow, Panina, that seems like it would be very messy to have every single task post to a company overview project. As far as I know, you can't automatically do that. You can, with any task, if there's like 2 projects you want them to be in, you can multi-home them from the original location to any other project that you want. Louise, do you have any thoughts here?
Yeah, I think, definitely learn how to multi-select, because that is something I'm just using all the time. So basically, like, go into your project, click on the top task, hold down your shift key, go to the bottom one that you want to include, and um, you can make adjustments to that task for all different things. So I could like multi-select, you can multi-select up to 50 tasks at a time. You can do those 50, you can assign to yourself, assign a due date, add it to another project like you need in this case. But yeah, as of now, that is the way I do it, but I do use that all the time. So yeah, look up the Asana shortcuts and you'll find that you just get like real speedy in there.
Great. And do you use Timeline? in the course of your work?
I don't. The timeline is great. I just haven't found that I need it. I think just because I'm so like happy with my color coded calendar that I'm good. But the timeline is another view that yeah I didn't mention in the presentation, but that's another option which can really help you um, organize projects and move them, like shift any dates if needed.
Great. Yeah, Connor's asking, he has a few projects that span multiple years, but cannot view them in the timeline tab. Is there a way to zoom out and see more than 1 year in the timeline view? Connor, I use timeline quite a bit. We actually use the timeline to help plan the Asana Together World Tour, which is all of our events that we do over the course of a year. I don't know that you can view more than 1 year in the timeline view. We've only ever used it to plan a year at a time. I know you can zoom out quite a bit, so we have been able to see like a year and several months on either end. But beyond that, I don't know that there's a way to zoom out even more. Okay, Greg is asking, and this might be one of our last questions, is there a way to move a task and have all subsequent tasks adjust accordingly? Louise?
Yes, there is a way to do that, right? I was experimenting recently and I added a task and I was able to have it come 7 days later. What is that feature
Yeah,
called?
that's all based on task dependencies,
Yeah.
which is basically where you say like task A can only happen when tasks like B, C, D are done by a specific date or completion time. And then when you shift the date of one, it can shift the rest. And so, Greg, I would check out the Asana guide about task dependencies and due dates. All right. Well, we have time for maybe one more. Let me take a quick look.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so this is a good one for us to end on. So Maria asks, it's a challenge for me to figure out how to manage my Outlook emails with tasks in Asana. How to avoid duplicate tasks or viewing both Outlook and Asana?
So managing emails and then the tasks into
Mhm.
Asana. I would definitely look into the integration with Outlook and I think that would help you, but really I think of Asana as my hub, like my to-do list. The Outlook is really just something that complements it. So I'm never like approaching a to-do from my email inbox. That is happening from Asana. So I feel like that helps with the overlap part of it. I don't feel like, oh, there's all these things I need to do in my inbox. Because if I see it in my inbox, I'm going to take that, move it into a task into Asana if it is an action item, and then archive it from the inbox. Like just get it out of your inbox so they are fully separate. But yeah, it's going to feel so much better than using Outlook as a to do.
Yeah, I would agree. I look at email as a place for communication and triage. So if an email comes in where there's something that I need to work on, I immediately make it into an Asana task, and then I too archive it from my inbox. And this is true for whether you're using Outlook or Gmail or whatever your email
Mhm.
program of choice is. Really get used to practicing the Asana integration for Outlook or for Gmail, whatever email program you use, because then you get into the habit of if I need to respond, it happens in Outlook or Gmail. If I need to do something, I move it into Asana, and then from Asana is where I manage my tasks and coordinate when things will actually get completed. I found for most people, once they get used to really thinking about Asana is where you do the work,
Yeah,
it's so much easier because then you're not doing exactly what this person asked, which is how do I manage the tasks in both places?
exactly. Exactly. It honestly has made such a huge difference. I feel so much less stressed now that I've gotten in the habit of doing that and not relying on a jumbled inbox.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thank you, Louise. Can we get a virtual round of applause for Louise by showing her some emoji love in the chat? Yes, thank you so much, everyone, and thank you, Louise. Before everyone heads out, I just want to make sure that you head over to our networking tables, including Louise's. We have another session starting in about 30 minutes with the next round of workshops. But between then and now, there's lots of time for you to check out all of the booths, network with other attendees, and see all the great things that we have to offer here today at the Asana Together Learnathon. Thank you all so much for being here with us. Thank you, Louise. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for sharing all of your fantastic ideas and tips and advice. And again, make sure to check out Louise's table, and we will see you shortly at the next session. Bye,
Great. Thank
everybody.
you. you. Thank you. Bye.